on this one-off occasion, you tested the samples and they all came out positive.
That's right.
And what happened after that?
Well, they released me because it was late in the evening. It was almost Maghrib time. So they said I have to keep my phone open on. So in case they need me. So I left and I went back home. So over the night I haven't had any call. So luckily, before the morning I was looking back home. So when I came around 10 o'clock in the morning, I was called again to go and answer in the State House.
To who at the State House?
To the President himself.
Did you eventually got to meet him?
Yeah, though it took hours, but I eventually met him.
Did you meet him alone?
Yeah, when he called me, he came out with securities or whatever. That when he went to his small house, later known as glass house, he actually asked everybody to leave. I was with him.
Alone?
So, yeah, alone.
And what happened?
Well, he just smiled at me, and that was my first time meeting him, actually. I was a bit agitated, uncomfortable, actually. He just smiled, then I introduced myself, mentally. He asked me to run my samples, or my patient sample. I said, yes. How do you find it? I said, well, they all came out positive. I said, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm sure. Because I know what I'm doing. Then they said, okay. Can you run them again? I said, yes. Because who took the sample? I said, I didn't take the sample. The samples were brought to me. So he said, now, you yourself go and collect these samples and run them and come and tell me the outcome. And I did that.
Just a moment. Just a moment. The first samples you tested and they all came out positive, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know from whom they were collected?
Absolutely not.
You don't know who they belonged to at all?
No. No.
So this time round, you were asked to go and collect the samples yourself, correct?
Yes.
So
yes,
proceed, what happened after that?
After collecting the sample.
How did you know from whom you had to collect these samples?
From him. Yeah. He gave me he advised me to collect samples.
From who?
From the patient.
Well, so were patients, a set of patients presented to you?
Yes.
Who brought them?
Well, yeah.
Out there where? Out there where?
Outside the glass.
Okay.
House.
They were already in State House.
That's it, yes.
Okay. And you went to them and collected samples?
Yeah.
From how many individuals?
Actually, 6 or 7 of them. There are not many.
Was it exactly the same number as the samples you previously tested?
Yes, exactly the same number.
But this time around, you do not actually, or did you actually know whether the samples you are collecting now Or rather, these individuals are the same people who provided the first samples. Did you know that?
I don't know that. I don't know that.
You don't know that?
I
Okay.
don't know that.
So this time around, what did your test results show?
It shows the same result. It shows the same result. They all came out positive.
They all came out positive. All right? And what happened after that? Did you report back to him?
Yes, I did report back to him.
Was he happy? Was he pleased with the results?
No, he was not. He was not. He was not.
What, could you explain further?
Yeah. So when I came back with the second test results, he was not happy. So he just kept on smiling and laughing to himself. So I just have to sit still and wait for his reaction or whatever he wants again. Well, he told me,
Go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. And at the time he asked me, can we go for the test? I said, well, we have facilities here. We have collaborators who got the facilities. It's MRC down here, because I collaborate a lot with them. So the only facility, the only machines that we have for water testing is the CD4 count machine that we had in the lab at the time. It was also not on my unit, but in the chemistry unit. So he said he don't trust anybody. Let nobody get close to his patient, either his samples. I said, well.
What did he say? Did he say anything about MRC?
Yes, he did.
Tell us.
Because when I suggested to him about MRC, there are our new collaborators. They've got CD4 count machine, they've got PCR machine, but the viral growth machine. He said, whenever MRC gets close to his sample, we'll close the institute. So I said, well, and I would be there.
Did he say he was going to close MRC if they get close to his samples?
The sample.
That is what he said.
That was his answer.
Let me just take you to your statement and read out what you had there. You said that you had facilities and your pathology laboratory used to collaborate with MRC Gambia for any further advanced tests if the need arises. This was not the case with the PATP. The president was absolutely defensive with his treatment. When I told him we can use the MRC facilities, he blankly told me whenever the MRC got close to his patients, he will close the research council, and I would never live to tell the story.
That's the fact.
He threatened you.
You can call it a threat, because you can pass relating with your personal business. But I'm not there to try and make that anything that against your will. Then it's a threat, of course.
Well, why wasn't he happy with the test?
Well, I can't read his mind, or whatever is in his mind, but I think his expectation failed, because actually he thought my probably cured those patients. I don't know whatever was in his mind and whatever was his objective actually to achieve.
But Mr. Bachili, his objective was very clear. It was announced to the world, I have a cure for HIV/AIDS. I can cure AIDS in 3 years. Wasn't that his promise?
That was his promise. Then it clarifies what's his action then. Because if he reacted that way, then he get a disappointment outcome. So these are the situations.
So he was disappointed, angry that the test results still show HIV positive.
Yes, yes.
That is your testimony.
Yes.
He was disappointed that this test results still show HIV positive.
Yes.
That's your testimony.
That's my testimony, because if they were all came negative as he expected, I don't think that would have been the reaction then.
And what happened after that?
But after that, he asked me to do the test. We don't have the facilities there. And I'm not there to get in touch with MRC, to run those tests. So the only option is now to go outside the country.
And tell us what was the testing protocol for testing and carrying samples outside the country?
Yeah, we have the facility of sending samples outside the country in the RBK at that time. Because I used to send initial samples to Dakar for confirmation. And then, so I suggested to him, look, the only option is, I know is Dakar. So he said, because about the West, I'm not there to touch the West because he don't trust anybody, this especially the Western world. So when I suggested Dakar, he said yes. Then he said you can collect the sample. So I said, but you have to relate with the laboratory in Dakar and ask. So when we asked, I think Dr. Bow called Matthew. Means of transaction calls they did to the lab, and then they asked me to go.
Just a moment on that. Were you present when Dr. Mbow communicated with the lab in Senegal?
Yes, I was in the office.
Were you present when he was speaking to them?
To them, yes.
Did you know what the conversation was about, what they said?
So of course, they will test the sample, and then I'll bring back the results.
In what language were they speaking?
Well, in Wolof. I was in Wolof.
All right. So you heard, did you hear both ends of the conversation?
Not really, but through the above who was over the phone with them. Yeah. I could hear Dr. Mbow's voice.
Okay. All right. So then after that you collected the samples?
Yes, I did collect.
All right.
You know, when you collect the sample, you collect them in whole blood, so you have to separate it, put it in a proper containers, to avoid hemolysis. So that's what I did, and then put them in the right box with the right temperature, with the ice part, then to Senegal.
And then what happened when you went to Senegal?
So when I went to Senegal, the other place where I normally send my missile sample for confirmation. So that's where I went first. Then they directed me to the HIV laboratory.
And what happened when you went there, when you got there?
And I got there, I met the in charge. So I spoke to him. They said yes, they got the message.
And who was the in charge?
I can't remember that name really. But I know the head of the lab was something like you or I can't remember that one.
Is it a Professor Suleiman Boub?
Exactly, that's the right man. Yeah. I met with him. Yeah.
Do you know that in fact Professor Suleiman Boub is one of the leading researchers in Africa and in the world on HIV/AIDS?
I know Suleiman very well. I know Professor Suleiman. I read about him. I read a lot of research.
Do you know that he is one of the most respected people in this area of practice?
I know that. I know he's respected.
Good. So you were in his lab, and then what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, they introduced me to the staff. Then I joined one of the staff who was running the sample. Then it took us almost 2 to 3 days, I think, for running the sample because I was working all the time. So I ran the sample. So at the end of the day, they stamped the sample and enveloped it and gave it to me.
And
Then
what was the result of the tests?
Yeah, the result of the test was handed to Dr. Mo. I know he got some undetectable viral loads. So that's where my limited.
That's where what? Could you take that? Where what?
That's where I stopped with the results after giving them to Dr. Mo.
Did you read the results before you gave them to Dr. Mbo?
Not really. Not really.
So, just a moment. Before you handed them over to Dr. Mbo, did you know the contents of the results?
When we finished running the test, because I was assisting that laboratory technician man, I know the result. I know we got some detectable results and some highly positive results. Highly viable on those results. Yes. I know.
Okay. Let's take a few steps backwards.
Okay.
You personally collected the sample, correct?
Yes, I did. Yes.
And the person from whom you collected these samples, did you have any scientific evidence about their status before?
Apart from the test that I ran.
Yes, before the test you took, did you have any baseline information about these individuals?
About them? No.
Exactly. So you are testing blindly, correct?
Yes. I'm testing places that I don't know about their clinical history, I don't know about their background.
Okay, good. So here you are. This was in what month in 2007?
That was around December or January.
January 2007, was it? Just at the inception of the program, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. As a scientist, if a person had undetectable viral load, say in December 2000, all right? And the person joins a treatment program in January 2007. Would it be unheard of that that person would still test undetectable? Would it be
How do you know?
No,
How do you know?
listen,
Undetectable. Yes, I'm listening.
listen to the question. If in December 2007 a person has tested undetectable, all right? Few weeks later, that person is tested again.
Yeah.
Would it be unheard of if that person still tests undetectable?
Yeah, it could be possible.
I'm not sure you understand my question. If a person conducts a test in December, right? Like person A is HIV positive. So person A conducts a test in December of 2006. And the results come out, yes, you are HIV positive, but the viral load is undetectable.
That's right, yeah.
That is in December 2006, right?
Yeah.
And the person is on antiretrovirals, all right? You would expect that the viral load would still remain undetectable, isn't it? Correct? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. If that person tests again in January 2007, wouldn't you expect that that person would still be undetectable?
Yes, if that person is regularly taking his or her antiretroviral, of course, the viral load goes down to a point where it's still undetectable.
Yeah, perfect. These people that you have tested, some of the results came out to be undetectable. Do you know for how long they were already in the presidential program?
Actually, I don't know.
Do you know whether they've been there, they were there for years or just for a matter of weeks?
Absolutely, I don't know the length of period or time they have been there.
Well, the program was announced in January.
Yes.
And you did the test in January, correct?
Yes.
So it means at most the period they would have been there would be just a few weeks.
Could be. I don't know how the length of time they've been there with the president.
But it certainly would not be months. It can only be weeks or a matter of days.
Mr. Fall, I can't tell that. That's only the president knows how long he kept them there.
Okay, all right.
For me, on that interceptor. So the only thing I can tell you is I collected those samples at that time, but how long they stayed there, how long they have been doing that treatment, is beyond my knowledge.
That is perfectly fine. We understand your answer, and it's a very fair answer because you don't want to speculate. But we know that the president announced the program in January, and you said you went to test in January, correct?
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
Was it in January, or when did you go to test? Was it January or was it April?
I think it's in January.
You went to test in January. But whatever it is, do you know how those results were used by the Jammeh government? Or rather by Jammeh himself?
By Jammeh himself. I wouldn't say Jammeh, because actually, Mr. Fall, I relate with Dr. Mo and Dr. Guy. These are my doctors as a laboratory technician. So whatever interpretation the president comes up with, I will base it on doctors.
Wasn't it said that President Jammeh's treatment or cure was successful because people have now returned tests with undetectable viral loads? Wasn't that their pronouncement?
Yes, that was the pronouncement. Yeah.
And they based the result, they based their pronouncement on the result of the tests that were carried out in Dakar.
Yeah, that's true.
And they build up the results as showing a breakthrough in the president's treatment or in the president's cure. Wasn't that the case?
That was the case, and if I can comment just a short story. That breakthrough talking about, that was very right, because I have to call Dr. Mo's attention. I went to his office, because the first announcement was cure, a word, cure. And I alerted Dr. Mo, this is not cure. When viral load is undetectable, that doesn't mean it is eradicated.
And what did Dr. Mo say about that?
I think that's the time they went and
Could you say that again?
That's the time they went back to.
Okay. Could you repeat?
About this.
Could you
talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So when they announced it, the breakthrough, so I walked into Dr. Mo's office and we sat down, we had a chat. I told him, I think there's a big mistake. Undetectable dosing means cure.
Did so Dr. Mo understand what you were saying?
Yeah, he later understand. Because after
you're saying he later understands. At first,
well,
did he understand?
When they change the tube, that's I understand now, they understand. Because if you say cure, in the eradication, a total eradication of something, which was not the actual fact.
So what they initially claimed and what happened was completely different.
Completely different, completely contrary.
In fact, do you realize that the laboratory in Senegal, they protested the use of the report from the report that was provided. They protested the way it was used by Banjul.
Yeah.
Are you?
Not only, I was aware. I was aware, Mr. Hart.
And
it's not only Senegal, but all over the world.
Who was right on this occasion? Was it the protesters, or was it the claimers of having discovered a cure in Banjul? Who was right?
Well, the protesters were right. They were right.
The claim to have a cure for HIV/AIDS was a lie. You agree?
Was not true. Was a lie. It was not a cure.
How did you feel walking in this program where the president proclaimed that there was a cure? You are the one who came with the results showing that there was a cure. How did you feel about that?
My feelings, I already expressed it. I told you I went to Dr. Mo's office. That was the first step I have to take. Then,
were you happy or were you disappointed?
Absolutely, sir. Disappointed. Bad feelings. Because if you ask Dr. Maria Jallo, she will tell you how I felt about it. That was a betrayal to my nation. That was a betrayal to my people. And it's unacceptable. I don't like it. I feel bad about it.
You have used very strong words, that this is a betrayal of your people. This is a betrayal of your country. It was also criminal, wasn't it?
It was. It was.
And were you surprised when people all over the world said, this is a lie, there is no known cure for AIDS, and under no circumstances made the lab results from Senegal be touted or claimed to be a cure for HIV/AIDS?
Oh, it's not so. I've been working in HIV research for quite a while, and I had a clue. I wouldn't say I have a total knowledge of it, but I know it's not curable. So if somebody claims curable through my name, it affects me, because I know what is behind it. So actually, that was the situation. I can't change it. There was no.
Let me read out these things to you, and you tell me what you feel about it. This is an article dated 25th April 2007. It is from Reuters. It is our Exhibit 54. And it says, it says Gambian President Yahya Jammeh's assertion that a herbal treatment had cured patients of the AIDS virus was not only wrong, but some of his supporting data was false. Exhibit 154. Experts said on Tuesday. And then it goes on to say, a researcher in Senegal said Jammeh's office had misused his lab in testing the blood of the ostensibly cured patients and said none of them had been cured. Do you agree with that?
Well, yes, I did.
Good. And it went on to say that Jammeh's claims in February were widely derided by AIDS experts, but got enough attention to worry the International AIDS Society, a group of 10,000 people who put together major global AIDS conferences and back research. Jammeh treated 10 patients at his presidential palace. The AIDS noted that all of them had been taking standard AIDS drugs. All of them were already taking standard AIDS drugs. They were all on ARVs. Wasn't really surprising that some of the test results come out undetectable?
Well, it could be a contributing factor.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because I don't know how or when they left that ARV to come and join Jammeh's treatment.
Yeah.
So within that short period, that the act of taking those ARV would have reduced the viral load for them. And coming into Jammeh's treatment, I, at the end, attribute a proper nutritional supplement, having good food, and of course that's part of health breathing of patients of the HIV. So it could be a factor. It could be a factor.
And do you in fact realize that some of those patients tested were not in fact yet on ARVs because their viral loads were already very low at that time? They were on Septrin. Do you realize that?
No, I have never realized that.
So in fact, to use the result of such a person who's on Septrin because the viral load is so low, and you use the test result of that person to show, to proclaim that you have a case, not only dishonest, isn't it? It is criminal, isn't it?
It's completely out of hand. That's completely out. And all these journalists you're talking about, they have been comparing me with information, with praise. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing a test for him or that? I know my situation at that time. I know what I'm doing, so I was not happy with it. But should I commit myself to something that will end up stopping my life short, I would.
Could you explain that further?
Yes, the thing is, every day I get messages all over the world, Mr. Fatou. I was more depressed than any other person you could imagine. Not from the science, professional, the researchers, all over the world, from South Africa, America, Europe, you name it. Every day I get drunk of emails asking me how am I managing with this. I say, I'm just trying to see myself out of it, but with the help of God, eventually I did. But it was the most depressing period of my life, if you could ever imagine.
Why was it so depressing?
Of course it was depressing. One, because I know what we are doing was not authentic.
Could you say that again? Could you say that again?
What he was doing, and we all were involved, was not authentic.
So it was false.
It was false.
Proceed.
Yeah, it was false, and that it could cost me my life.
You were
It
scared.
could cost my family.
You were afraid for
I
your
was afraid.
safety and your security.
And my security, not only my security, but my entire family and friends. So that's one factor.
How did
And
you
so
manage?
much I-
How did you manage in
Yes.
such a situation?
Well, the only is to keep my prayers. That's one thing. And the only person who was close to me fighting against this was Dr. Maria Tijalo, who I will never forget in my life. So she was a sole supporter to me, because whenever I feel bad about it, we just isolate ourselves in a private place and think, storm our brains together to see how best we can stop this.
How many tests have you conducted while you were in Gambia for the PATP?
This is a regular thing. I almost got, because he always, I think, still doubting to see this thing coming up positive. And what he was fighting was to see that this is coming out negative. So he is regularly
But did,
asking me, could you retest this sample whether they are negative? Could you retest this sample? Whether he was constantly also giving them his herbal medication, I don't know.
did the test ever come out negative?
It never come out negative. It never come out negative.
Was there ever a time where you were asked to give out false results?
No, that was never. That was never. And it never occurred to me. Because I don't think in my living soul I would ever live to see such a situation arise. That's not my professional code of conduct. So I know what I'm doing. I know it's good for my people. I know the importance of the health of my people. I am a Muslim. I'm scared of that.
So you took tests or samples to Egypt and also to where? Morocco?
Morocco, yes.
And for those places, did he get what he wanted?
Yeah, I think the most pronounced results that he got was from Senegal. But I think as time goes on, the patient stays longer with him. The results from Egypt typically was not that attractive. So my last testing outside the country was Egypt, which I find very hard really, because I spent almost a month was not that attractive. So luckily I applied for university in the UK. Then when I came back, I just managed to escape.
Did you say escape?
Yes, it was an escape.
You were running for your life?
Absolutely.
Because why were you running for your life?
Because things, the way I observed it at that time, was not going right. And I know I can't rectify it, not through my verbal solicitation to them, not through my strength, not through the enlightening them to make understand things are going wrong, because people start dying. And this scared me. And I spoke to Dr. Maria Sijala about it. She was scared. He was not comfortable with the whole issue. So then I have to decide what to do.
And your solution was?
To go out of the country.
How did you feel having to run away? Because our president, your president, was claiming something that was false.
It's hard, if I tell you. It's hard to leave your country, leave your family, leave your profession, simply for something that you cannot rectify. I lose a lot. Thank God I have gained also. But I lose a lot. If I tell you, just about 3 weeks back, my blood brother at the backward housing estate died. I haven't seen him for quite nearly 11 years. That breaks my heart. My first marriage, break out of it. Thanks to my wife, Fatou, who stood by me to achieve the little thing that I got today. But I cannot sit down here and explain internally what is in me, how I felt, how I am feeling at the moment.
Did you see people discharged from the program as scared? Did you see it on television, or were you present?
Yes. Not in my presence, but I have seen it over TV that some people were discharged. I know they were not discharged. They were not killed.
It was a lie.
But it was a lie. But if you scrutinize the whole issue, I think that was an exhausting point whereby he can't go any further with those prisoners. So the only way is to release them in the name of fear, or they have been killed or whatever. Just is detention on him. Because what I have observed at that time was, when I left, the objective that the reason why I left the program was working somehow, because most of the things were dropping step by step, and eventually he shifted his treatment from HIV to other things. So I think my meeting contributed a big milestone of closing that bit of this treatment on the HIV side.
Well, for your information, it continued. But let me read out paragraph 19 of your statement and tell me whether it captures everything you wanted to say. You said here, to sum up, I want to express how I felt throughout that period and the effect it still has on me. I believed I did all I could either to eliminate or minimize the damage that was going on, but it was beyond my control because the fact was I was in a hostile environment with a cloud of uncertainty about if the Constitution that is meant to protect me from any interference in executing my job without fear was capable. Very strong words. You are now questioning whether the Constitution, which lays out the ground rules on how every one of us is governed, you are now questioning whether that can protect you. That's Mr. Bachelet.
Yeah. Yes.
You are seriously worried.
I was.
But could you tell us more about the hostile environment? How hostile was it, and where was the hostility coming from?
Well, it was wherever you measure this hostility. I had no limit or measurement here to say this is its range. But I'll tell you that it was really hostile, severely hostile.
Where was the hostility coming from?
It's coming from the people that we expect to protect us from any harm so that we can execute our responsibilities to build that nation. If the people who should protect us are the people who turn back on us and start harassing us or redirecting our roles and responsibilities in their personal gain, I don't think that nation can be built. Everything fails. So it was a...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was a hard situation. It was really hostile because you cannot do anything right. You have to do as you are asked to do and follow the route that they want. So that was what is existing. So, and the nation can't be built on that situation.
And in paragraph 20 of your statement, you said as follows: in hindsight, I could say I should have done significantly more in upholding the principles of care. The health governing bodies should be able to determine the quality and standard of care required without interference. There should be an increased awareness and support also from the public to withhold high standards of care in our communities. Strong words again.
I think, just a bit of explanation on that. I think since the president left, if you look at our community, you look at our society in the Gambia, I think we should have aim for more cohesive and tolerance for each other rather than dividing that nation. It's a small country by population, but I think the manpower and the intellectual that we have in that country should have been able to build that nation and never allow the thing to take steps in that country. But
in your statement, you continued to lament that whatever happened after handing the results to the physicians and the president is unknown. Why did you say that?
Well, when it comes to the storage of information, because information is vital, I don't know nothing about the storage of that information, unknown to me.
Do you believe that they were manipulating the data to suit their own interests?
Well, I don't know nothing about it. That's why I say it's unknown to me. Information is very important. Data, information is very important. The storage of information is another important thing. Because personal information should not be designated like that.
Were you allowed to keep the data?
I don't. I never keep data.
Was that normal?
It is normal to an extent because I don't request tests, so I can't keep data. I can only keep data in a system whereby I collaborate with the physician or the doctors that I deal with, so that they can get access and I can get access to that data when the need arises. But as long as I am no longer in that system, I don't need the data.
I mean, while you were there, were you allowed to keep data?
No. Data goes back to the doctors and keep asking.
This, who was in charge? It's gone.
Well, the program was in the hands of the president.
Did he have total control?
Completely. Absolute total control.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bacheli. I have no further questions. I would hand you over to the chair and the commissioners for further questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fatou.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bacheli. Thank you very much, lead counsel. But Mr. Bacheli has disappeared. Is that, can I carry on talking?
Yeah, you can.
I can. Okay, thank you. That was a very interesting session. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Commissioner Jones? Okay, then I'll come, Commissioner.
Mr. Bacheli, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Lead counsel already asked you the question regarding the tests that were taken to Egypt and Morocco, but your response was not very audible. Can you please repeat for the record what the results were? Did they come out negative or positive?
When you talk about negative, positive, because already samples that are taken to Egypt or Morocco, they are all positive, and they never come out negative.
Okay.
So if you are talking about the viral load, or...
Yes, the viral load count, because your response was not audible when you responded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What I said about the sample from Morocco and Egypt, I said they were not as attractive as the one from Senegal. So we got a lot of positive, a lot of high viral from results, typically of that of Egypt. So they all came out most high viral. So you got a moderate one, not as type of Senegal where you got undetectable.
Okay, thank you.
Which Commissioner Jones? Commissioner Kerr?
Okay, thank you. The first question I want to ask is, in your conversation with the lead counsel, you mentioned that you are not just afraid for yourself, but for the safety of your family. And I want to know, why were you afraid for the safety of your family?
I think I have already expressed that concern to the lead counsel, Mr. Fatou. Actually, the environment was hostile because everything was not based on the rules and regulations that guide the process. There was no law and order. It's an individual's idea, and you have to do it as he stated, whether it's right or wrong.
Thank you. Sometimes the audio is not clear. That's why I had to re-ask that question. The second is, did that change? My second question is, did that change after you traveled out of the country? And what happened to your family?
I feel that it makes a big difference here. Because what I thought is, if there is nobody that he trusted like me, is out of the system, probably he might give up or limit his activities. I think that worked because he really actually trusted me with his patient and samples, and I'm out of the system. So, and he always expressed concern about people tampering with his sample, tampering with his patients, or doing things that would, jeopardize with his treatment. So actually, deciding to go out, I think, make a big difference.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kerr. Mr. Bachile, I have just one small question. And that is, how can you explain the phenomenon that a profession that is based on ethics, that you could have a whole group of people within the profession who would go outside the value systems of their profession?
I think also that could be attributed to where that guide, that profession is no more alive, I would say, in a simple sense. Because you can only execute your responsibilities or duties in a free environment. So without those conditions, you could hardly go or do the right thing, I would say. If you are not protected, but dictated, so how can you execute your duties according to the law? So it will be hard. It's easy for somebody out there sitting and say, you shouldn't have done it. Of course, you shouldn't have done it. But if your environment is hostile and you know the repercussions of doing what you are of not doing what you are told to do, but trying to say, well, this is not in line with the law, you might end up seeing yourself somewhere else. And if you know that, I think it's suicidal. So there is nobody who wants to commit suicide in a situation where if you know you do what you are not asked to do, you might end up being somewhere or being killed. Then I see no reason why not. Then just try to play every day and see yourself out of it. It's very heartbreaking actually when you know the rules and regulations that guide a profession, and then you decide to go against it, not willingly or intentionally, but you are subjected to it. So the only way as a believer, as a Muslim for me, is just prayers every day and then try to work out how best you could put an energy to it.
Bishop, do you have anything? No, you're fine. No more questions. Thank you, Mr. Bachele. Do you have any final word for the Commission and for the country, of course?
As I stated, I think the Commission is on its right route, because if there are still people out there who have missed a lot in the Gambia, and it affects them, both emotionally, mentally, and I think it will have a long effect in their lives and their families' lives. I think if the Commission could work out such a situation whereby people can be counseled and try to restore some of these missing things in their life, I think it is very important. And Gambia is a small country. The population, we have good brains there, we have very intellectual people. And the route that we are trying to take now, I think doesn't help, especially in the media, where people stand harassing each other and doing other things. This could end up producing an other happening on this new life. I think we should try to understand each other, come to terms, and develop that little country for everybody, whether you are in the country or outside. It's not bad words or bad intentions or swearing on each other that could build that nation. It's to use our initiative intellectually to come to terms with what is going on and try and build that nation. So I'm praying for everybody in the Gambia, whether you are in the Western world or in the diaspora or wherever you are. I think we should storm our brains together, join hands, and try to build up that nation. We have lacking everything, and we are far behind of any developing country in that continent. So may Allah help us all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bachele, for testifying before the Commission. Thank you, Lead Counsel. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, media, interpreters, audience. This session has come to a close. We are adjourned until Monday at 10 o'clock.
waaw love like fire xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la skincare la 2020 lañ wax de waaw fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache perfect skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek loo lañ soxlaati rek maanaam bu ngeen am problème ci seen skin yéen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal ba la ka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi defee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw fii ngeen di ñëw skincare plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen ne lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skin care products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit bentee tamit si ay dàlla man waaye man nag skin care mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner, Kiwi Eye, the whole range, Lighten Up Gold, Tomatine. I mean, the list can just go on and on and on and on. lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox. Skincare plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu ngi United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes, you know, fragrances, men's shirts, accessories. We do dresses as well. We do blouses. I mean, we do shoes. Name it, we do them. Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection. Zero task. Fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task kenn waratu fi am problème kanam kenn waratu fi am problème yu picca boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii. Love like fire. Bring my love like fire.
Miss B Designer Outlet is the #1 quality and affordable stop shop for all your needs. Get your evening dresses, suit and ties, office wears for both ladies and gentlemen, beach wears, sport wears, pure leather shoes for men, quality belts, bags, heels for all beautiful ladies, original perfumes, accessories, and a lot more. Find us at Kololini Road opposite Gaddafi Mosque at the Aqua Preacher Station, or call us on 295-3411 or 764-2486. Miss B Designer Outlet. Shop right, look good.
When we touch down, better broke down.
With Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
So she became mine and see